Okay, so stay with me here. This is going to be kind of complicated, and I'm going to try to break it down best I can. What has Trump done? And I know we're seeing like bits and pieces of it, but I kind of conglomerated it all together to show what he's doing. I wrote a book called The Swiss Effect that covers a lot of this. I saw this coming, I guess you could say. But what has happened? So when Trump got elected, he cut off the World Health Organization. He cut off USAID. He cut off the Human Rights Council, which is UNRWA. He might be cutting off the World Trade Organization. Then he went to the World Economic Forum via Zoom and basically told them all how it's going to be. So that's a European slap to the face. Then he's been openly attacking the European Union, threw all these tariffs at everybody, waited for people to come to the table to make a deal. In the meantime, the stock market's going down. I'm not going to say tanking anymore because it's not tanking. It's just resetting. So the stock market's going down, which is going to bail out the American consumer because all these stupid loans that we had at high interest rates during the Biden administration are now going to be at affordable interest rates, which directly affects me in several different sectors of my life. So I'm excited for that. On top of that, he also used the tariffs to empower India. You think Modi and Trump they've been having all these conversations? You think they didn't make a deal? India's about to replace China as the largest manufacturer of foreign goods for us, as far as random things that China used to supply us with. India's going to do that. Now you may ask, well, what about the precious metals and stuff that we depend on China from? We think China's the only people developing steel. Steel's developed everywhere. We can get it. Yeah, you're going to pay more for it, but you're getting a larger quality of steel. I can personally attest to that. I bought for my company a gearbox that had from Italy, from a well-known gearbox maker, and they decided this time they're going to put Chinese bearings in it. Guess what? I've now gone through 4 of them in a year, when generally one gearbox with good bearings in it will last me 10 years. So that tells you the quality from China that we get. We don't need their steel. We can get it from everywhere else. The better product at a good price. Shopping around, that's what we do. We don't need to depend on China. So Trump's using India to backdoor China. While China raises their tariff prices, they've taken themselves out of the negotiation game. So they're screwed. China screwed themselves. They're not going to be able to do much of anything anymore. India's going to take over. Vietnam's going to step their game up. They were one of the first countries to come to the table with Trump and say, let's make a deal. They got the deal done, 0-0 on the tariffs. So Vietnam's going to play a bigger role. Now, what's happened because of all this? 4 days ago, Klaus Schwab announced that he is going to be stepping down from the World Economic Forum. That's huge. Granted, it doesn't start until like January of 2027, but he ain't going to make it that long. He'll quit before then. Also, big news. A lot of people, nobody covered this, for one. I found it on Al Jazeera, and I found it on Russia Today. Keir Starmer made a statement, and then now that I've read the statement, I was able to go back and Google it, and now I can find it on several other American news outlets, so it's not just foreign propaganda. Our guys are saying it too. But Keir Starmer announced that he's abandoning globalization. You know how big that is? Do you know what that's going to do? Trump stopped the funding to Europe. Europe was funding the globalization in the 17 certain sustainable, certain developmental, certain goals. Because TikTok doesn't like it when I say it all together in one big sentence. But Trump defunded it. They were dependent upon our funding, which is why Keir Starmer said we're going to have to abandon globalization because the United States isn't going to bail us out anymore. So we're going to have to figure out a way for us to sustain our own economy over here. They're in a panic mode because they know they've been depending upon the American taxpayer for so long that they've never built up their backup plan. Now they're screwed. Every country in Europe's screwed. So Trump defunded Europe, which in turns is going to defund all this crazy bullshit we got going on in the United States. All this trans stuff, these protests we're seeing getting funded, It's all going to fall on a certain Hungarian billionaire that's banned from his own country that everybody doesn't like. So it's all going to fall on him. He's not going to be able to fund all this by himself. He was dependent upon the World Economic Forum to help him. Now they're defunded. Everything in Europe's defunded. All this woke craziness is about to die out because the funding's going to disappear. Trump outsmarted the world again. And he did it in master plan fashion. I cannot honestly tell you, I was thinking about this all day. Who in history has masterfully come up with such an elaborate plan to destroy all of America's bad apples at one time? He's killed them all. And on top of that, he did it with adversity in his face. The Democrats kept trying to throw him in jail and bankrupt him, and he still came out on top. When this is all said and done, this will be the greatest presidency in the history of the world. That's all I got. Hope y'all followed through with that. Peace.